So
How's it going?
it's going pretty well.
We're here, like Ali's been here working on the masters for his new album, White Flag.
Yes.
So I guess I just want to talk a little bit about, the story of this album, because it's been a long one.
Yeah,
And
I suppose, huh?
so where did White Flag start from?
Man, White Flag honestly started like right after my LMM show in 2017.
Yeah, I was there. That was
Huh.
a sick show.
Thanks, yeah. But like so I was writing something that is now called Chori Chori on the record.
Hmm.
And that's sort of when I started writing it. And when I was writing it, I figured that I don't want to do this one just by myself.
Hmm.
And so I wanted everybody, as many people as I could get involved in the record as possible. And that took me to fucking 2021 now, and I'm still trying to put this record out.
So LMM lineup kaise hua basically?
LMM
Because that's
lineup-
what started the journey for the lineup for this album.
Basically, like when I played that show, that's when I realized that this was possible,
Yeah.
and that's when I started writing to like this, because it seemed like right before that moment, it just felt like everything before this was like compensating for something, or whether it was my own understanding of something or whatever. But like as soon as I met these musicians and I realized what was sort of musically achievable,
Yeah.
then it's sort of like, then you can be like, okay, I can let loose with this and I can go kind of crazy with this.
Yeah,
And see
yeah.
what these people do with it.
Yeah, I mean, I remember when the Rames came into the picture.
Yeah.
Like,
That's
for all of
just-
us,
yeah.
it was like, okay,
That just takes
can
the
do
lid
anything
off of
now.
any band. किसी भी band को बस yes करना तो hire Rame today.
yeah. But yeah, and then I remember being at the LMM show and hearing your older material reimagined
Yeah,
with
exactly.
the new lineup.
Exactly.
And with Zen on guitar as well, and it was so immediately made it like current and maybe a little beyond current,
Yeah, sure.
because
I
that
mean,
was done 3 years ago.
Huh.
So
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
not
yeah.
in the
I guess.
public sound consciousness yet, But we've been
Sure.
familiar with this
We've been
like thing
hearing
for a
the
while.
same fucking music since fucking 3 years now. So
Yeah. I mean,
But-
it's similar with me. For instance, the new DA record has taken the last 2 or 3 years in various forms, but it's finally coming to a point
Wait.
where it'll hopefully be done.
I just want to
But
get
yeah.
rid of this album and
Yeah.
hopefully बस ये यहाँ पे हो जाएगा. हो
Inshallah.
जाएगा.
What have been some of the most like interesting experiences you've worked with, I don't know, 15-20 different people on this album? Like it seems
Not
like I've
20,
not counted
like,
them.
We're like काफी सारे. हाँ,
हाँ.
काफी सारे. Cool experience.
And were all of them people that you had kind of already developed a musical relationship with, or this was like a chance to, okay, ye lo?
Sort of both. Like this was also sort of like okay, let's see what happens when we do this thing together. But it's also people that I have sort of done music with before
Yeah.
to some degree, or am familiar with what they do and they're familiar with what I do and stuff. But यार अब्दुल्ला वाला गाना जब वापस मिला था उसके तरफ से तो बस मेरा दिमाग फट गया था वो सुन के. Like that was really just like
He made it his own in a
fit
way.
so well.
Yeah.
And because I was really struggling with that song, because I was trying to figure out who should be on it, because I also, before giving it to anybody, I also try to come up with things myself if I can. And I was struggling with this one, and then I sent it to Abdullah, and the first thing, like I asked him, hey, do you want to sing on this song, and I sent him the song, and he replies with just, "Can you send me the stems?"
Yeah.
I
Producer,
was like,
spoken
okay,
like a
this
true
guy.
producer. But I think it's
Crazy,
been a really brilliant idea as a listener and follower of your journey, because it opens up a lot of different sides of Ali Suhail in the one album,
I
right? So
suppose.
typically it's been like, okay, different albums have gone into different
Sure.
zones,
Sure.
but this one album is like showing a breadth of
And
evolution as well, like, you know,
Definitely. But like it's
some
especially
gent stuff happening in
like, there's definitely a lot more like I don't know recently, but right around the time when I started writing this record is when I got inspired by like a lot of music that I wasn't being like exposed to before,
Yeah.
because I was started hanging out with Takatak, and all of these musical inspirations just started just
seeping in.
yeah, and वो काफी ridiculous सा scene था, but also because like everything before this has just been me and everything that I can possibly do, and it's really sort of refreshing, even though it took 3 years
Yeah.
running after people and everything, but it's really just cool to see what a group of people can do, because I've also not been like very कि भाई अच्छा नहीं इसको इस तरह करना है
Yeah,
with
you've let people
anybody
have a little
involved,
space
like,
in it.
हाँ, like जो किया है वो किया है, okay, if that's what you want to do, then that's what it'll be. And that's sort of what the experiment's supposed to be.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of very much like, interestingly, very much like the Aleph Originals thing that we're doing.
Nice, huh?
Because someone comes up with an idea
Yeah.
and they're open to doing it collaboratively, and then
Nah,
see who fits.
exactly.
And everyone brings in whatever they bring in, and there's not much
Direction,
going
huh?
on,
Huh.
you know? And that's, I think for me, like in the journey of making music, it seems like that ultimately, if you can get the collective egos out of the way and have that as an approach, then the best stuff and the most unexpected stuff comes out.
Like, because everybody, you don't know how much any given person is going to push themselves for a specific
Yeah.
thing. And that's really
But
where
if any one of the people in that arrangement or in that song pushes it a little further, then everyone has to kind of up their game.
Like, oh shit, I gotta step up.
Yeah.
That's the cool part about it.
Yeah. Like, you know, I mean, I've mastering it and hearing cool little, like, you know, fills that Yusuf does, and it just, you know, inspires or like has a counterpoint in the mix somewhere else. You know?
And not just like just the mix, but it also informed, because Yusuf so Yusuf ne jo drums kiye, those were on the demo bases that I had recorded, and then the actual bassists recorded Yusuf's drums.
Yeah, so that's actually the
also,
more
he's also informed
more correct way to do it.
Songwriting as well. In
Yeah,
that sort of regard.
So you made a demo with him first.
Yeah.
And so he worked out his things.
Yeah. Mera flow has always sort of been just like कि यार बस दस्ती इस साल में बस 6 albums निकाल दो किसी तरह एक साल में. And like to have work that you have been sitting on for like 3 years, it's just kind of like
welcome to my world.
I'm not used to this. I'm not used to this. And it's mostly just like at this point, everything that's taken time is the packaging.
Yeah.
Like everything else has sort of been done like 2 years ago.
Yeah, but that's the other thing. Like I think over the course of being in this first indie scene and then semi-professional scene, and then now we find ourselves as professional musicians, producers, whatever you want to call it. But like you realize the packaging is very important.
Packaging is what sort of gets
Makes
you
someone
between
pick it up from the shelf.
professional to like from unprofessional to professional is the packaging, I think, because it was really easy to just be like, Acha, I'm done with this SoundCloud, done, okay, bye, never listening to you again.
Yeah, and nice picture, nice text, and that's your artwork.
That's it. ये मैंने drawing बनाई थी परसों,
Yeah.
ये मेरा album cover है.
But speaking of which, the album cover for White Flag is is
dude.
pretty awesome.
Sana has done an amazing job. Like,
Yeah.
हाँ,
मजे की बात है पिछली एल्बम का कवर भी एक और सना है.
हाँ.
But this is a
and
different
it's
Sana.
also sort of in the same vein of like somehow I want to say Japanese inspired art because like that was also very like
anime-ish.
I guess like what's his name, the guy who does that comic nahi, I can't remember. Junji Ito, I think.
Okay.
That's what like Pursuit of Irrelevance was sort of inspired by.
Yeah.
The album art, and this one sort of just looks very anime-esque, like the landscape and stuff. And I did not give any direction.
Where did the name White Flag come from? I mean, obviously it has an obvious connotation.
It came from like a stupid joke that I made to myself once when I was just rendering files, and that's what stuck, and so I just stuck with it. It was a working title, and then I was like, why not like White Flag, like Dido doesn't have a fucking monopoly over white flags.
Well, when I first heard when you told me, I was like, shit, dude, ये कोई इसकी last album तो नहीं है, give up, last stand हो रहा है कोई.
We'll see. Only
I mean, you
time
never
will
know.
tell.
I mean, but yeah, I hope not. Taka boys को heart attacks हो रहे.
नहीं, easy scenes.
Guy
Scenes
Fawkes.
be easy. Yo.
He's joined the frame. But yeah, so like where do you see it going from here? Obviously you're releasing the album in a year, which is, you know, no live music, no scene, and obviously we've been trying to keep it going with a live stream situation, and people have been doing that. But do you plan to promote the album in terms of
Shows
pursuing
and
that
stuff?
live thing? Because I mean, this is a great lineup to somehow put together though.
Wait, but like it's going to be it was a logistical nightmare to get them to come together on different times for this album. So I don't know how, if I will pull that off, I don't know how I'll do it, because getting everybody together is gonna be hell.
Yeah, but you know, I would love for it to happen.
That could be cool.
Maybe, you
Hopefully.
know, even if not all the guest
Some.
performers, you know, make a lineup that can cover most of it, you know.
Abhi to khair, the world is on its belly right now, so abhi wo to dekhenge one thing.
Yeah, but khair, that's the other thing, that like now when we're releasing music, it's in as Pakistani artists that don't get to tour the world, you know, on these tours and all that very often. It's like a more level playing field in terms of music coming out.
Because like a lot of local music is now getting sort of, well, I wouldn't say a lot, a couple of local music and musicians have gotten some international
some reach.
And that's
I mean, you've been part of one of them. Like Takatak broke through on Spotify and on in the publications on, like, I still can't believe Metal Injection.
Yeah. So I guess everybody being online has like its benefits as well. But like
and I mean, the fact is, the one of the things that helped obviously that album breakthrough, I believe, is the fact that it's in English. You know, and being
it's in English,
local
and like,
musicians that make music in English, we get pointed fingers a lot कि भाई हम पाकिस्तान में हैं.
कर रहे हैं आप.
But
what is Pakistani about this?
Yeah, but I mean, for myself, like, my main language has been English, in which I communicate, you know.
Like
or at least musically, क्योंकि references ही वही हैं. वो music
that's
सुनता
what
रहे
I've
तो
grew
when
up
you're
listening to,
when you're being creative.
If you want me to be a little more culturally sound, then school me in my culture, bro. Like अगर मुझे अपनी पसंद से मैं जो अगर मुझे
Speaking of which, you are doing that now. Like,
हाँ.
अब teacher बन गए music के.
Try
So
it
like,
out.
how do you look at that aspect of it? Like, as a music teacher, you know, I can imagine that because you've been through a big learning curve as an indie
Definitely,
musician coming to this stage.
Sure.
So, do you bring that practical aspect into what you're teaching the kids?
Definitely to a degree, but like the way music is treated in educational institutions over here especially is just really strange. It's not treated like a thing that you can study, like a subject, but
It's a vocational activity.
it's like a free period. It's like
Yeah,
PE,
yeah.
and like the they're just supposed to like just sing lullabies or some shit. Like
Yeah.
that's not
That's not
sort of
musical
what
education,
I'm about.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to just be a little more like give a little theoretical background into
Yeah.
what they're doing, but like
What's the
also like I
response to
also
that?
wanna keep my job and shit.
Yeah.
They seem to be happy about it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But I mean, I'm just happy about the fact that some school thought it suitable to
Yeah.
hire someone like you to be a music teacher.
Yeah, it was really
know?
really interesting. That was the first time my CD just sounded nice to me. They were like, "Oh, this seems very impressive," and I was like, do you have the
Are you
same
sure?
document?"
But that's cool. I mean, I didn't expect. Okay, we're at this point, but we are.
I guess.
We are somehow here.
Like, well, we're here if we choose to be, I guess.
That's the other thing, because you could have just as easily not taken that
Yeah.
job, right? Yeah, and
Huh.
done more session gigs,
I
right?
guess.
I think this is the thing. Like, we need to be more hands-on with the next generation, because I think there's been an element of separateness.
I've also
Like when we were growing up, I don't know about you, but for me it felt
I
like
guess.
I didn't imagine that I could ever have access to
Sure.
musicians,
Sure.
right? And they would teach me hands-on
Sure.
directly, because in those days there was no
That was very much like even.
internet भी नहीं था, तो वो
हाँ.
fan interaction उस level पे होता ही नहीं था.
But I honestly, I don't worry about the next generation that much.
Yeah, they've got the internet.
They're fucking smart, dude, and they like उनको बस पता है अपना scene. They're like, there's still some like obviously growing pains and learning curves about everything, but like
Yeah.
they know what they're doing. वो उनका easy scene है. They know better, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, you can argue that, but the fact is that like nothing can overcome the practical experience.
I
Like
guess,
you've
huh.
made,
हाँ.
I don't know if you count, but I don't. पता नहीं,
I don't know.
15-20 albums तो बनाई है
I
with
guess,
different people.
I guess. Like पता नहीं काफी है.
काफी तो है. Like काफी हैं. And like for me, that's always been a thing that you have to have a body of work. If you consider yourself something, then you need to be working on that
I guess,
thing
huh?
and have something to show for it.
Huh.
Because even just for yourself, I mean, mainly just for yourself.
Honestly.
Because otherwise, I mean, that's where, personally, that's where, I can go into a depressive phase if I haven't been productive.
वही ना.
You know.
Like that's the problem with it, because it's like it's great because it drives you, and when it's working it feels fucking amazing, but like
Yeah.
there are days when it doesn't work, and that's like ugh.
It's bad.
Yeah, वो gross दिन होता है.
Yeah, but that's where I guess it's helping now for me to have multiple projects.
Yeah,
going, and not just
exactly.
one band
It's
or
also
one thing.
it's also not like as like mythified, or if that's the word, or mythology, whatever the word is, but like there was a lot of like mood about it and like feeling about it, and sure we are like dynamic organisms and we
Yes.
feel differently every day, and that's true, but
Yeah.
it's also just a practice. Like the more you do it,
There
are people like, look at Zen, dude. Like
Absolutely,
Zen
yeah.
रोज बस bangers बना रहा होता है. Like
कुछ 40 गाने बना लिए
हाँ,
टका के
वो
next.
रोज बस बैठ के एक नई चीज बस वो कर रहा होता है, and it's good.
Yeah.
Because like he's done it so, and he keeps doing it so much that even the shit that he's making, he can either, he has enough experience now to turn that into something that sounds good, or he's just making so much that the shit is irrelevant.
Yeah.
Whereas if you do it less, then you can just easily get disheartened by कि भाई oh अच्छा नहीं मैं तो shit चीज बनाई है.
Yeah, and people have a lot of expectations as well कि ठीक है कोई अच्छी चीज बन गई, you like it, your peers like it, your band likes it, everyone liked it, you put it out, but it didn't go viral, or it didn't, it didn't do something that you expected it to do, and that throws people in a dark zone. But I think it's just a self setup, and then you see this excuse a lot कि try किया हुआ नहीं अब वो, but this is like the thing. I think our industry has been,
it's really hard to get people to agree on things.
Yes.
It is probably the hardest thing in the world to get people to agree on things. So actual like songs that work, you can shit on them and you can be like, hey, I don't like pop, but that's the shit that is actually getting people to agree on shit.
True.
And not everybody can not everybody's gonna land on an agreement every time. Sure,
absolutely.
Everybody can't be Taylor Swift, but like,
and there's some things which as an artist, there's certain places you go and certain emotions you express, and it comes out musically in ways as someone who makes albums, there's certain songs that are really serving the album and filling a piece of it. But it's never going to be anyone's favorite song, maybe. But and then some of those songs end up being people's favorites. So.
And it's all just like, the fact is that I'm glad that my music exists. That's it. At the bottom, like at the end of the day, like if it's about कि भाई अच्छा नहीं, it can only, if it's only good if it gets you some stats.
That's
kind of, I don't know, like the fact that you can make something where there was nothing before, I think that's worth pursuing.
Absolutely.
And sometimes other people might agree on a thing that you like listening to or that you like making, but that doesn't mean that you only do that thing, or that if they don't agree on it that you suck, or that you should change something. Just fucking just do you, man. Like
and I think that's actually it all comes back around to the same thing in this. You collaborated with a lot of people and let them do them, and that's how it just goes down easier. And it just
I can represent it better. I can stand behind it better if like people that I trust have worked on something.
Absolutely.
I can be like, हाँ dude, ये fit है. If it's just me, then I can be like, पता नहीं, I don't know, fit है, पता नहीं. तुम बताओ.
Exactly.
चले. सुनो.
काफी